Have you ever thought about becoming a mortgage loan originator, closing some deals? Maybe you want to be a real estate agent because you think those commissions are just marvelous. But one thing that is a big pitfall in both businesses is the fact that you work for commission, and therefore you can spend a ton of time with people and never actually earn a dollar. And so in this video, what I want to do is I want to highlight the pitfalls, and hopefully by watching this video, especially if you're in the beginning stages of your career, you can actually avoid spending a ton of time with people and never earning any money. All right. If you don't know who I am, my name is Avi Schaffer, and I'm an owner of a finance company in Los Angeles. The only thing I ask, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up so other people like yourself can find it on the web. And if you like my videos, then feel free to subscribe to my channel. With that, let's get started. All right. So what happens that you actually spend so much time with somebody and you never earn a commission? Mind you, that's very typical in both the mortgage and the real estate space. So how do you safeguard against it? I'm going to focus on mortgage because that's what I do. And specifically, when you have a complicated file and you know that it's going to be complicated, I feel like you have to take a couple things into consideration. And I was guilty of doing this in the past. I've worked with customers who actually had a hefty real estate schedule, a lot of corporations, different streams of income. And I think what you have to really put in perspective is the amount of time that you're going to spend on the file in comparison to the amount of money that you're going to make on it. Now, in the residential space, meaning homeowner, 1 to 4 units, it becomes very difficult to pick up a file and go through the motions and hope that you're going to get paid for it, simply because there are no guarantees. There's no way to actually charge a borrower upfront for work that you do. So how do you actually avoid these pitfalls? Well, if you're in the beginning stages of your career, I can tell you that business loans are treated different than owner-occupied loans, meaning that the guidelines are very different. The way you're able to charge people for different things that you do is very different. So if I was in the beginning stages of my career, I would say that, and this is a typical conversation that I have with a lot of people, is that you're going to come into an industry and you want to learn about becoming a mortgage loan professional. To get started, I think we should understand that you're very limited when you're trying to fund loans on the residential end, meaning for owner-occupieds 1 through 4 units. And the reason I say that is because it's extremely regulated, especially when it's attached to your NMLS license. And what do I mean by that? Well, whenever you fund a residential deal, there's only a certain way that you could actually charge for your time, meaning that you could charge through the transaction. It has to be listed on the LE, which is the lender's estimate. It has to be disclosed up front. And if it isn't, for any crazy reason, then you cannot change it and you cannot charge for it at closing. All right. Also, you can only charge the borrower either upfront as a borrower paid charge or a lender paid transaction, which means that you're getting a yield spread premium or a rebate from the actual lender themselves. So hopefully that part puts residential lending into perspective, basically meaning it's extremely limited. Now, if you end up spending a ton of time on a transaction with a borrower who has a massive real estate schedule, corporations, and different streams of income, and for any reason it doesn't fund, then you find yourself in a very frustrating position, especially if that person hasn't been referred to you and you're working with them exclusively. If you're trying to compete as a broker on rate, that's going to be a challenge because most of the time you're going to lose that battle. Somebody else always has a cheaper rate. All I'm trying to convey to you is that whoever it is you're working with, make sure that the amount of work that you're doing is going to be comparable to the amount of commission that you can expect. If you're going to do a massive amount of work, make sure that they are, one, committed to you, and that the commission at the end of it all actually lines up with the work that you're going to do. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, you have private money loans, aka hard money loans, and commercial transactions. Now, I can tell you from doing both for many years that working in this arena makes life a lot easier. And let me explain to you why. Remember, we started this video and I told you the problem is that you spend so much of your time working with somebody, they may or may not be committed to you and close a transaction with you. So you don't want to find yourself spinning your wheels for so many hours and not earning a commission. How do we bypass that? Well, on the private money side and the commercial side, what you could actually do is get the terms from the lender, assuming that the actual frame of the transaction looks like a deal that you would be able to put together. Now, it might sound a little bit more complicated, but the truth of the matter, it isn't. And when you ask yourself, okay, well, what kind of transactions are those if they're not 1 through 4 unit residential transactions? Okay. Then they may be warehouses, owner-user, whether it's investment or not, retail centers, apartment buildings, hospitality, which could be any hotels, right? Healthcare. There is an abundance of different industries within the commercial space. And the beautiful part about it, which is why I love it so much, is that the loan amounts are typically significantly higher. So if I'm working and spending my time on both transaction, residential and commercial, you might say, yeah, but this one takes forever to close. It doesn't. You could typically close a transaction within 60 days. And I'm going to break that down for you and show you why you can safeguard your time here a lot more than you would over here. A lot of rates have been locked in the low 2 to 3, 4% range, right? So you're not going to have a bunch of refis. You're going to have more purchases. And for that, you have to build relationships with real estate agents. So if I'm talking to you, somebody who is just trying to get into the mortgage business now, typically where you would have balance of refis and purchases, your full-time job would have to be to impress real estate agents and try to earn their next transaction. Whereas here on this side, where we're doing private money and commercial financing, these loans are typically only locked up for 3, 5, and 7 years. So that means there's more opportunity there in both purchase and refi in today's market. Now, if I know for a fact that I'm going to be working on a residential transaction, which is more than likely a fraction of the size of this commercial transaction, that also means that my commission on this end is going to be significantly bigger. Now, how do I safeguard my time is the question. Well, I can size up this deal, and when I do, I'm going to have a lot of support from a third party, which is something that I can get into a little bit later. So automatically, a ton of my time is not being sucked up on this end when I actually know that I can put this deal together because it cash flows. Then I'm going to get terms. And when I get these terms, I'm going to actually list them on a term sheet, meaning that I'm going to present them to my borrower. And when they sign it, then I'm going to collect a processing fee upfront, anywhere between $1,500 to $2,000. And how is that possible? Because it's a business transaction. I can do whatever I want. It's not an owner-occupied transaction. And therefore, I can get the borrower to commit to the transaction up front, meaning I don't spend a ton of my time not knowing what's going to happen, especially if it's a more complicated transaction. So now I have a much larger transaction I'm going to earn a larger commission on, and I'm getting terms up front, presenting them to the borrower in something called a term sheet, an LOI, letter of interest, again, something we're going to cover. They like it, they want to move forward, they sign it, and then day one, I get a check for $1,500 to $2,000. That is a committed borrower. Now, the beautiful part about it is that within 30 days of this transaction taking place, if the loan gets fully committed or at least conditionally approved, then the lender themselves is going to want a deposit. And why would they want that? Because they're going to have to order third-party reports for the transaction, the commercial transaction. And when they do that, they don't want to pay from their own pocket. They want the borrower to pay for it. So as you can see, there's constant steps that are being taken on this end for the borrower to be pulled in to commit to the transaction. And not only that, I have a lot of third party helping me with this. So I know that I'm not spinning my wheels a ton until I get green light saying, yes, this cash flows. Yes, we can move forward. Yes, here are the terms. If any of this sparks your interest and you're new to this game, you're trying to just get into the market and you're trying to figure it out, should I be a residential loan officer? Should I be a real estate agent? Should I be a commercial loan officer? I can tell you from my experience that the market of private money and commercial lending is a lot more lucrative and exclusive in the sense that it sets the bar higher. And if you're thinking, that sounds great, but where would I actually learn how to do this? Well, I can tell you that I've actually spent well over 10 years learning how to do all this. And over the past year, I've actually went through and condensed all my knowledge into something that I call the Part-Time Commercial Lender Academy that actually walks you through a commercial transaction A through Z, holds your hands with me on video, just like this, able to show you all the moving pieces so you could actually dive in as a beginner and learn how to transact, do a commercial lending transaction or private money deal and earn these type of commissions that I'm talking about, all right? I know we covered a lot of bases and I'm sure you have questions. So if you do, please drop them in the comments below. If you're wondering where exactly can I get a hold of this Part-Time Commercial Lender Academy, it's available for you in the description of this video. You can click the link. You can learn more about it. I'm very proud of it because I spent such a long time putting it together and I know how valuable it is simply because if I could go back to well over 10 years when I started and I had access to basically this information that I'm offering, then it would save me so many years of trial and error, all right? I really hope you appreciate this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. And if you did, then again, please give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below for me. I would be so honored to answer them for you. I'm kind of curious what the takeaway is and what questions you might have about this topic, especially if you're trying to get started in this business. Otherwise, thank you for watching here. Thank you for being here. And if you enjoyed it, then please feel free to subscribe to the channel. Otherwise, I'll catch you again on the next video. Take care.